put on the back side of the. Put on the back side of there.
Yeah. Well, do you want it on the back side?
Well, I don't want it on the front side.
Do we need any access to it once it's in?
I mean, we can put it on. I think we can put it on.
Once we get the wires connected. What are these little rubber doodads? Is there anything we need to do on the rubber doodad?
So I think.
See these for the pump tanks?
Well, that I think
What's
is
in
just
there?
different ways you can input the connectors.
Oh, is that an Anderson? Can you hold that up? All right, guys, we're back in the garage doing some work today on Chef John's Toyota. We're going to be testing out and setting up the Bluetti Charger 1. This is their, it's more of a universal portable power station charger. So you can use this with Bluetti portable power stations, but you see there's no proprietary cables on it like the other chargers that we've tested before. So we can actually use this on like an EcoFlow or a DJI power station. So I thought you guys would be interested in seeing just how this works out. We'll do some testing, see how fast it charges, talk a little bit about the install, and compare it to some of the other charging systems that I've featured on the channel over the last couple of months, because I did a video with the DJI 1000 watt charger. That one is proprietary to the DJI portable power station. As well, we did the EcoFlow charger, which is proprietary to the EcoFlow power stations. That one charges at 800 watts. This one is supposed to charge at 560 watts. So you trade a little bit of charging speed for the universalness. Is that a word? John, is that a word?
What's that?
Universalness. And I've also got a Bluetti portable power station. This is the AC200L. I've not actually looked at any Bluetti portable power stations yet, so I'll give you guys a real high level tour of this. This is going to be more about the charger and our experience setting it up and showing you guys all the ins and outs of the charger if you guys want to take a look at getting one. But the other thing too is these are 350 bucks Canadian, so that's pretty affordable for a portable charger. It's probably like $5 US. I don't know the US pricing, but I'll put some links down in the description for you guys. You can go check them out. But I was just double checking the Canadian pricing. It's 350 bucks, 349 and some change. So get this installed in John's not Jeep behind us, and I'll show you just how it wires up, and we'll check out the performance and see what we think. All right, so quick little tour of this. There is not much to it. Now there is an app that we can download for this to control the voltages, which basically sets how fast the charging rate is going to be. There's no extra features like the DJI or EcoFlow chargers where you can backfeed your vehicle's battery and trickle charge it, keep it topped up, or jump start it. This is just for charging. So if none of those fancy features are useful to you, this might be good bang for your buck. And 560 watts is a pretty good charging rate. We'll see what we actually get out of this in John's 4Runner, but as far as install goes, there's not much. There's an input and an output side. So on this side, we're going to bring in positive and negative from our battery, and that's going to feed this. This draws, I believe it was 42 amps, up to 42 amps. So you're going to want to size your wire appropriately for the amount of distance that you need to go so you don't fry anything. You know, that's something, John, we didn't get a fuse. We'll deal with that later. We did get some hardware in the box, but it's mostly just some ring terminals, some screws, and some wire termination pieces. And then we can... Oh, I know what it is. I just figured it out. They're not Andersons at all.
What are they?
That's how you get the screws out.
Oh. All right.
Hey, okay, never mind. These are not Andersons. I was just thinking about how do we get these screws out. Well, you're going to back this off, and you're going to use this big, long Allen key that comes with this. And then we're going to be able to...
It is notable that they don't mention those flaps at all.
Yeah, I was like, that really looks like an Anderson, but it has this weird thing here, so it doesn't... Yeah, anyways, this is going to let us back this off. Like that. So there's no proprietary plugs on this like the other chargers that we have. The EcoFlow charger, you can't plug into anything else. It just plugs into EcoFlows that have battery expansion ports. But this is going to use any kind of cable to go into it, which is fine. And as well, on the other side, we've got the output, and this is going to connect to whatever battery system you want to charge. You can back that out, and now we can put the little terminals in here as well. So we've got some different, we have different size ones? No. Oh, yeah, so they give you 4 connectors. So in the box there's these, but they're all the same size. These are exactly the same size. So these don't fit on the output side. They do fit on the input side. So I guess these are just spares. And on the output side, we're gonna just use this. This is like a standard solar panel connector. This does come with this, so you do get this, and then you get these connectors on the end here that are already tinned or squared or squished, ready to go. So just pop those in there, and then we're going to screw that down, and then we can connect anything we want to the solar connectors. So if we were connecting this up to the Bluetti, we just connect the positive and negatives to these solar connectors here, and then we've got this, I don't know the name for this plug, and then we connect this to this like that, and then we can screw this into the DC input, which is where you would connect solar panels or a 12 volt cigarette barrel type connector. So Bluetti uses sort of dongles. They don't use the same universal connectors that EcoFlow and DJI use on their power stations. But what's happening is, why this charges faster is because this is basically converting the 12 volt input at 40 amps to 56 volts, up to 56 volts. You can control the voltage output between 15 volts and 56 volts. So when you increase the voltage and it stays at 10 amps, that means you get more wattage, basically. So this will charge at 560 watts, because 10 amps times 56 volts, do the math. It's basically like having solar panels connected, because that's all solar panels do, is they just charge at higher voltage. You connect the solar panels up, they usually operate between 30 and 60 volts, and then just depends on how much light you're getting on your solar panels will increase the amperage output of them and the voltage output, and then you get more wattage. Wattage is your charging speed. So I'll show you the EcoFlow charger just by comparison. You guys can see the difference, and I'll put a full video up in the corner that I shot a little while ago, but we have this hardwired into the truck. So this is the EcoFlow charger. As I mentioned, proprietary connectors on it, but it does charge at 800 watts, but it can only charge EcoFlow portable power stations like this one here. This is the Delta 2, and it connects into the expansion battery port to charge it. So things like extending how far away your portable power station is from the charger is not very easy, as well as extending this cable from your battery to the EcoFlow is also not easy, because it's like they give you a nice thick huge run of cable. Unlike with the Bluetti, we gotta go buy some cable, so that's gonna add some additional cost. All this cable comes with the EcoFlow. The EcoFlow can also trickle charge your Jeep, so I keep it actually keep my EcoFlow plugged in, and then the charger, and then the alternator charger is constantly keeping my Jeep's starting battery topped up, because sometimes the deaminator doesn't go anywhere for a few weeks, and I don't want any power loss. So a couple differences there. The EcoFlow alternator charger can charge your vehicle as well as batteries, but only EcoFlow batteries, and it comes with a whole bunch of wire, so you don't have to go and buy anywhere. John had to go buy a bunch of what are we going with, 6 gauge?
4, I think.
4 gauge. Oh yeah, we went with 4 gauge welding wire because it was cheaper. So we had to get 20 feet of wire. but we're gonna ground it out in the back, so we don't need to run 16 feet of wire all the way to the back.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a pre-made harness like you do with the EcoFlow. So some subtleties you should be aware of. Pass it through this way. Are you going under this trim here?
Yeah.
Are you gonna fish it under or just ram it?
It's under there already. I just need to. It's kind of a grippy cable, so.
All right. While John does that, let's have a quick look at this Bluetti portable power station. Oh my god, this thing weighs a ton. Hey John, have you seen this new feature that Onyx Offroad's just added? So Onyx Offroad is the GPS and map application that we all use to track and record and share all our routes and information about trails and points of interest and all that kind of cool stuff. And they have map layers, and you can see things like precipitation, temperature, active wildfires, which is super awesome. But apparently they've added cell phone coverage. So I just wanted to check that out. I just opened up my Onyx here real quick and I was looking at the new layers, and we've got the AT&T cell coverage layer, Verizon, T-Mobile. This is great for my friends down in the States. We've got the pink and the blue and the dark pink. Those are the different layers here because we've got blue, not so pink, and pink on our layers. Hopefully we see this in Canada because that would also be super handy, but I can give you a good idea of what it looks like in Canada. Not very good outside of major cities, but around the States, this is very helpful because you might see where you get some self-service along a trail that you're on, or know that you're going out somewhere where you're going to have no cell service, and you can let your friends and family know that you'll be off the grid and maybe what time you'll be back online. One more reason to use Onyx Offroad. They're literally adding features faster than I can keep track of them. If you guys want to check out Onyx, there's no cost to download it on your favorite app store. And if you want to upgrade to one of their premium subscription tiers, you can save a few bucks by using the discount code in the description below. There's also a link if you want to go directly there and check it out. And there's a QR code on the screen right here. Yeah, check it out, Onyx Offroad. Let's get back to John's not Jeep. As I mentioned, this is the AC200L. This is a 2,048 watt hour portable power station. So I haven't looked at a Bluetti before, but I just want to point out I just want to point out some of the differences that I see over normal portable power stations. So this one has a DC output. So you got a barrel connector there. That's 12 amp or 12 volt, 10 amps. We've got a 48 volt connector on here. I haven't seen one of those before. Only 8 amps. We've got a bunch of USBs, 100 watt, USB-C. Everything's got these rubber connectors on them. USB-A, we got a pair of USB-A 18 watts, so it's going to be slow charging. And then we've got another USB-C here. And let's turn this thing on. It's got a physical click button. That's kind of cool. There's an app to run off this. And then we have 110 wall power here under all these connectors. I'm not sure I like these rubber covers on here, but I guess it's handy for keeping dust and stuff out. Just kind of annoying to use and access. And I haven't had an issue with dust on the thousands and thousands of kilometers I've had with other power stations that don't have these connectors. So I'll probably rip these off. And then we've got a large, is that 240? No, that's 125. It's a 30 amp, 125 volt output. So if you need to run something at a higher load and higher amperage, but still 110 volt, you've got a connector there. Now on the side we've got our inputs here. So we've got an AC input. I think there's some pros and cons to how Bluetti's doing this. So this is not a regular 3-pin computer power plug that you would normally see on every other power station. This is a proprietary screw-on plug. So they give you one. It's got the screw-on connector, and then it's got the 110 connector for the wall. Which means if you lose this, you have to get this special cable if you want to charge your Bluetti power station off the wall. The pro is that this screws on and can't come loose because it's got a collar here that's going to screw this down and hold it in place. So this is sort of, it seems more like a permanent installation, which I think is good in some circumstances, but just depends on what your use case is. If you're permanently mounting this in a trailer or cabin or something, you don't have to worry about your power connector coming out. And the same goes for the DC input. Now there's only this one DC input, so you can only have one thing plugged into at a time, and that means it can only be charging off the Charger 1, which is going to use this because I showed you guys a minute ago, we've got adapters. So we've got a screw-on DC connector here with a collar, and then we've got a universal connector here on the other side. Now this is larger than the connectors that we see on the backs of other portable power stations and solar panels. So this is something to note. Now you're going to plug this in here, then you've got this connector to plug in whatever you want. So if you want to use the Charger 1, you've now got to plug this in. So I've got this plugged in, this is plugged into the Bluetti, and now we've got these universal solar connectors here, which we would plug into like that. So these are going to connect to that, and then we're going to plug these into the outputs of the Charger 1, and we've got this chain of things going on. But if we want to charge it off of 12 volt, we have to manually disconnect right here and plug that in. So we have to disconnect it from the Charger 1. We can't be plugging into two inputs, DC inputs at the same time. Likewise, if you want to add solar panels, you're going to have to disconnect your Charger 1 from these connectors and connect to your solar panels. Most solar panels use this type of connector, very common connector. So there's only one DC input, which is maybe a drawback for you. Now, by comparison, we've got an EcoFlow Delta 3 here. And as I was saying, you have no rubber connectors on the front, anything like that. But we go to the back, and now we have our regular 3-pin, just a generic old power cord. If we want to plug this in off the wall, but if we want to plug the Charger 1 into our EcoFlow, we only need this cable here, which is standard plug that you see on a lot of solar inputs on portable power stations. No other adapters, and then we have a solar input connectors here, and we can plug the Charger 1 into those connectors with its little dongle that it has. But we still have another input, so we could have solar panels connected to this at the same time. We could have this connected up to the 12 volt of your vehicle. You could even have two Charger 1s connected, so you could charge this at over 1,000 watts if you want, because we have two DC inputs on here. So that's how John's going to set this up, because John is running the EcoFlow. He could try the Bluetti if he wants, but I think this is more flexible for what John needs. This is a little smaller. This is only 1,000 watt hours versus 2,000 watt hours, but we've got more flexibility. We've got two DC inputs in the back, and we can plug the Charger 1 in, and when John needs to connect solar panels, he can just keep another plug plugged in there and easily have it somewhere more accessible for plugging in the solar panels. So we'll test this once John finishes pulling apart his Not Jeep. We'll test this on the Bluetti, and we'll test this on the EcoFlow. I want to show you guys that they actually work, how fast they work, and that they charge the same or not the same on different brand power stations. But this is pretty affordable. The price point is good, and 560 watts is a solid amount of charging, and you can use it with more than just Bluetti portable power stations. All right, so the other thing is there's no fuses that come with the Charger 1, and it's going to be too much to plug into with a Blue Sea, because it's probably the whole amount of amperage that thing has anyways. So we're going to want to connect it right to the battery positive terminal, which means we want to fuse it as close to the terminal as we can. and there's no fuse in the box. So I'll go see if I can.
Epic also doesn't make wizards for Forerunners, so.
I don't see what would be different. Like, the Wizard should just connect kind of to any terminal.
It might.
Should get them to send one over.
Ginger, send me one, please. For science.
For science. Okay. Let's go see if we can find a fuse for John. Now, if you're wondering about the weather and why some of these shots it's sunny and some it's rainy, like, I'm literally shooting this all consecutively. The weather is changing every 15 minutes. It's crazy. All right, I'm gonna see if I can dig the chef out a fuse because we don't want to melt his whole truck and burn it down. So this is what we have. This is what comes with the EcoFlow alternator charger. It's a 100 amp. They have a 100 amp fuse because it pulls more watts. That's included. So we gotta dig one of these out and find one of these for Sean. Or we gotta find one of these for John's install because we don't want to be unfused running right off the battery. But there's the Wizard, guys. If you haven't seen the Wizard, this is Epic's wiring system or battery terminal replacement system. So you get way more positive connections instead of stacking them all on one. I don't see why this wouldn't work with John's truck. And then we get a negative block as well. I don't know why we couldn't use that. I don't know why we couldn't use the Wizard, John, with yours. I don't know why we couldn't use the Wizard with yours. I don't see any like real hardcore unique things about it that wouldn't fit on other vehicles. So this is the DJI Charger I was telling you guys about, and this one charges 1,000 watts, but it can only output to this kind of connector. So none of the portable power stations other than the DJI use this connector. SPC, I believe it's called. But we might be able to steal the fuse off. Dude, you're gonna hate me. So the DJI Charger, set it away. This is the DJI Charger. So that's the charging end, but they also supply you with a healthy length of thick enough wire because this can charge at 1,000 watts. This is going to draw even more amps. But they supply the wire. It's got the terminations, the ends on it already. It's sheathed, which is nice. But most of all, we have a nice thick fuse on the end of it and terminals, so we don't have to terminate this and everything else. Wish I thought of this yesterday before we went and bought wire.
$80 worth of wire. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've definitely thrown more out the door making mistakes. But yeah, so this should be enough to reach all the way. Let's test it.
Yeah.
I think this will be a lot easier. This will save us a lot of time. So we may just have to cut those connectors off.
Yeah.
We just have to unplug, unflip up these little things. We'll pull that off.
Find the hole. That's why I loosen first.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Where's the black cap that goes on that fuse?
Right here.
Before you connect that up. Let's cover that up. We'll put a zip tie over it so it doesn't come off. There we go. All right, John's finished wiring this into his truck, and look.
Only a little bit of blood.
Okay, so we're gonna test this on the Bluetti AC200L. I was just looking through the app, and when you go into the app, you can connect to the charger. Now, we couldn't connect to it until we turned the vehicle on, so there's some sort of voltage detection. So if you aren't able to connect to it after hooking it up the first time, start your vehicle, you should see a power light come on. But let's test it out. Let's see how fast it charges, and then we're going to charge it on the EcoFlow Delta 3. And I want to see how it charges with a non-Bluetti device connected to it. So we got to get our dongles.
Gotta get the dongle.
Get the dongles. So you've got the solar, what are these, the MC solar connectors.
Sure.
They only go one way, so connect that first. And then I've already attached the dongle that goes into the Bluetti. So that's the one we need there. And that's gonna go into the DC twist lock port on the side here.
So that guy doesn't really, is it aligned?
It
Yeah,
must
it
have an
does.
alignment pin, yeah. Goes in there, screw that. So it's kind of nice that it can't come disconnected. But it's kind of weird though that you can only select Bluetti devices, but technically we can charge any other power system that has the solar input. Okay, so fire up your truck.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens on the camera here too. Alright, so the charger is flashing. Yeah, we're showing 13.9 volts coming off your truck.
No input.
That's hasn't started yet on here either.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. It just takes a minute to kick on. And we're getting 550-ish watts, right where we should be. So that'll charge it up pretty quick. So we're at 54%, and that would charge it in 2 hours. So about 4 hours to charge a 2,000 watt hour portable power station.
Nice.
That's way faster than we had before.
Yeah.
And you can kind of keep it all permanently in here. Okay, so shut her down, and then we'll disconnect it, and then we'll feed it into the EcoFlow, because the EcoFlow should be able to take 60 volts on its solar port. So all we have to do is disconnect the solar port, and then we're gonna put that into we can use that on any solar input. And then once this is all done, we'll permanently mount this once we're happy with it, with its functionality. So the EcoFlow has its ports on the back. So this is just a standard solar adapter that you can buy anywhere on Amazon, and that I usually use to connect solar panels.
All right.
And then
I think it matters which one you plug in.
yeah, so max 60 volts. You can see guys right there, max 60 volts per port. And then if you want to flip the EcoFlow around, turn on. Yeah, so we're at 70%. Let's see how this goes. See if it blows up the EcoFlow. The EcoFlow is just going to think it's a solar panel, so should be good.
There we go.
So it's outputting 45 volts right now. So we're getting 460 watts, a little bit less.
480.
Or
It
not.
was, I mean, even the Bluetti was bouncing
Yeah,
between
there we go.
480 and almost 600 too.
It's
So
ramping up. There we go. So now we're getting a full 56 volts output, and we're fluctuating around the 500 watts of input, which is great. So there you go.
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Now
And there's no smoke coming from
there's
it.
nothing smoking your
Nothing's on fire. Nothing's smoking. That's the
So the one thing though is you could wire 2 of these up,
Yes.
and you could double charge,
That's true.
or you could just buy an EcoFlow alternator charger.
Yeah.
So
And before anybody points out, we're well aware we didn't need to run a ground wire all the way from the front.
well,
There is amount.
it's a debate. It's a debatable
It's debatable.
topic.
It's
a debatable topic. so.
Maybe we'll run 2 power cables in the future, and
What, for the second
For the second one.
yeah. Bluetti?
Yeah.
Second Charger one. Well, there you go, man. Because your onboard power is super unreliable.
Well,
for
so
charging
the
stuff.
difference was, by the way, that first time, like a couple of years ago when I was having the problem,
Yeah.
is that what I didn't know, read the manual, is that the 400 watt doesn't work when the vehicle is running or when it's driving.
Oh.
So
just
there
idling.
is bypasses that you can do. A whole bunch of guys have shown how to do it, where you can put a bypass in, so it'll override that, and it'll make it run. So it's 100 watt the rest of the time. But again, that's an AC input. It's not going to charge as fast as these things. So
Yeah.
I think having both is still nice, and it leaves that untouched.
You've still got the
Yeah.
AC. All right, so final thoughts on the Bluetti Charger 1. It's definitely the cheapest of the chargers that I've tested. It also outputs the lowest wattage of the chargers that I've tested, but it's universal. You can use it on anything. So I think that's definitely a great feature and a pro for it. Keep in mind, though, that cheaper cost doesn't bring any wire or fuses with it. So you're going to have to go get a long couple of lengths of copper cable to run all the way back to wherever you're going to have the charger. That does cost money, and we'll start to shrink some of that difference of the cost over, say, the EcoFlow alternator charger, which comes with all the wires. Same with the DJI charger as well. It comes with all the wires as well. The Bluetti can't back charge your battery, so there's no trickle charging if you don't use your Jeep for a long time, or you drain your battery down and you need to jump start it. That's one feature I really like about the EcoFlow alternator charger. If something happens and I'm out and I drain my truck battery, I can flip it into reverse mode and it's going to boost and jump start my truck, and that's super helpful. But the alternator charger from EcoFlow is quite a bit more expensive and proprietary to the EcoFlow portable power stations, but that's what I use. I want to let you guys know of a couple upcoming videos that I've got coming out. As you see behind me, I've got another top oak tent. This is the latest top oak tent. Nobody has this yet, and it hasn't been reviewed yet. Just came out. It's a budget-friendly rooftop tent. That's going to be coming in a future video. And check this out, guys. The mini Howl propane campfire. If you're not familiar with Howl, they make the most luxurious, massive propane campfire. It's very expensive, and they came out with this one, which is way cheaper, way smaller, way lighter. And I just picked one up, so we're going to be reviewing that in a video very soon. So do make sure you're subscribed, because I upload new videos all the time. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Leave a like for me, guys. It really helps the channel get noticed on YouTube and the algorithm, all that kind of fun stuff. My name's Casey. I'll catch you guys in the next video.